Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. The choice of movie this week is a 1951 novel by Clinton Twist turned into a comedy movie by the same name called The Long, Long Trailer from 1954, starring Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Marjorie Main, and Keenan Wynn. And you might remember the name Marjorie Main. She was the Ma in Ma and Pa Kettle. So where does the story begin? Well, Nicky, played by Desi Arnaz, is the husband, and Tacy, played by Lucille Ball, is the wife. And they recently got married, so they're honeymooners. But Nicky also took on a new job as a civil engineer, but the job is going to take him a ways away from home. So Tacy decides, for their honeymoon, why not we buy a trailer? That way we can be together and we can take a honeymoon trip through the Nevada mountains on the way to Colorado, which is his first job. Well, Nicky's a little reluctant with the idea, but Tacy at least talks him into going to a trailer show. So they go to the trailer show, looking around at trailers, and there's when Tacy falls in love with this huge trailer called the New Moon. And of course, the New Moon is a lot more money than they wanted to spend. But she talks Nicky into making a purchase. They buy the trailer, and of course, their old car won't tow the trailer. So they need to buy a new car. The new car needs a new trailer hitch, and the money just keeps getting spent. But all said and done, they get the car packed, the trailer packed, and they begin their honeymoon trip. Now, after this point, it's just one series after another of disasters, between getting the trailer stuck in the mud and having to sleep in a trailer on a tilt, to destroying one of the relatives' carports, to almost going over the cliff in the Nevada mountains. This is a very comical movie. The director, Vincent Minnelli, did a lot of comedies and melodramas. He was active in directing during the years from 1928 right up to 1976. But he's well known for his classic musicals. And he made musicals like Meet Me in St. Louis in 1944, An American in Paris in 1951, and The Bandwagon in 1953. And why was his choice of movies a lot of musicals? Well, for one, from 1945 to 1951, he was married to Judy Garland. And they had a daughter by the name of Liza Minnelli. So, a little more history and a trivia question coming up next. I'd like to start out and give a big thank you to my props lady. This is my silent partner made to look like he's camping. Pretty neat. But today's history relates to a few things in the movie, starting with the trailer. So the trailer used was a 1953 36-foot long Redmond New Moon. And the New Moon back then you could buy for $5,345. Now that relates to about $54,000 today. And the car used was a 1953 Mercury Monterey convertible in yellow. Now I was recently at a local car show and I saw a Monterey. Very nice example of one too, but the Monterey for Mercury was out from 1952 to 1974. And you could buy a convertible then for $2,370. And that same year in 1953, a Siren Red Monterey convertible became Ford's 40 millionth car produced. Now I noticed in the movie there's a part where there's elevation change, 8,000 foot elevation change to be exact, but it looked like they put in a different car in one scene. You could see a couple clips where it was a different grille and bumper. And I was right. For the elevation change, they needed a car with more horsepower. The Monterey was powered by a 125 horsepower flathead V8, but for the elevation, they changed it to a 1953 Lincoln Capri convertible in yellow. And the reason why is it came with a 205 horsepower V8. A couple other notes. Tacey's aunt and uncle's home was a house on the MGM back lot. It was also used in the musical Meet Me in St. Louis. And when the trailer and the car is parked in the driveway and they're packing up to head out on their honeymoon, that is actually Desi and Lucy's actual home on Roxbury Drive in Beverly Hills. Yeah. The trivia question, though, it comes with a story this time, and a pretty neat one at that. Was there ever a bet made on this movie on how well it would do? Yes, there was. It was quite a lump sum. At the time, the studio was unsure of how well this movie would do at the box office, and they had just reason. A lot of people were buying television sets in the early 50s, and they could watch I Love Lucy right at home for free. But Desi Arnaz thought differently. He said, well, they can watch Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz on the big screen, and when they went to the movies, they could watch it in living color. So he bet the studio $25,000 that this movie would currently make more money than the highest grossing comedy. And at the time, the highest grossing comedy was Father of the Bride with Spencer Tracy and Elizabeth Taylor. So the movie opened on February 18th, 1954, and it wasn't long after that that Desi Arnaz won his bet. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope to see you back next week.